is just fantastic. Captain's log, subdates 220609.3. If we're going to hide behind the red shirts, we're going to need more red shirts. So either I replicate more or I subtly requisition more from Subfleet, which will take a week to arrive. Tough choice. I think we'll replicate more and see what happens. Welcome everyone to the exhibition of stupid people. Today I was going to start by talking about a certain YouTube creator. Let's call him ManActThe. That should be deceptive enough. A creator I had up until this point never heard of until YouTube decided to side with the wrong person concerning, well, DMCA issues. Let's go with that. The consequences of which, by the way, are felt by not just ManActThe, but also by every other YouTube content creator. It has gotten to a point for other creators where if they talk about ManActThe akin to that of a certain YouTuber called Eugenia, where if you even show an image of the person, you are instantly demonetized, or you speak of them, you are demonetized. Yes, that's not sus in the slightest, is it now? But more importantly, it affects ManActThe because ManActThe has been demonetized fully by YouTube. Even though they have no copyright claims, they have no issues really with their account. You will know this if you've looked at their Twitter. So why can't we talk about them? Because an appeal process went through and ManActThe lost to Quantum, as in Quantum of Solace, not to be confused with Quantum TV, because I also don't want a DMCA on my account, of course. So Quantum of Solace have been victorious in their attempts at world domination because YouTube have decided the DMCA system means nothing at all, and they've sided with the wrong person and are going out of their way to punish the wrong person, which means now by extension many creators are worried, because if they talk on this subject, they now run the risk of being yeeted or buried, akin to that of earlier mentioned Eugenia, Alex Jones, David Icke. Hell, you can continue with many other creators or individuals that are considered problematic for reasons that are either obvious or subtle. Let's go with that. Quantum of Solace now are on this pedestal of, if you touch them, Quantum of Solace alone gets you buried. I know all about that, and I'd rather avoid it. But at the same time, I firmly believe ManActThe deserves all the support in the world, but I can't link their channel either because YouTube will go out of their way to flag that as well. No doubt they'll do what they did last time I linked to an Insider article and claim it has nudity on it. Reverse ManActThe, word order, and look them up and subscribe to them. They have over 1 million subs, so I'm sure they would appreciate any and all support you can give them. As far as YouTube goes, and this is why you're first, you should be ashamed of yourself. You actually should. You should be well and truly ashamed of what you have done. The precedent you have now set with the creator you have chose to align with, Quantum of Solace that is, and of course they're 100% legitness content creator. You have made it so creators now can't touch something. That's what you've done. If things are off the table, you yourself are curtailing one's ability to talk. And I know, but it's just monetization. Problem is, this is a job for people, and you have just taken this job away from someone, a rather big someone, which means no one is free of this, unless they happen to be on your list of let's not touch with demonetization, even though many have called for it multiple times. So I assume Quantum of Solace are on there with Eugenia and Foodie Beauty. Congratulations. As many of you will know, Queen Elizabeth II celebrated her Platinum Jubilee, which is 70 years on the throne. Congratulations. Coverage of this has been quite intense, and because of that coverage, much other discussion has been buried. One thing usually comes up whenever it's the Queen's anniversary of some kind, David Jason more notably because he retold a story where the Queen called a guy a gorilla, with many pouncing on the story and claiming the Queen is racist for saying that. Actually, you're racist, because if you knew anything about who she was referring to, you'd know the man was white. He just had really long arms. But the more recent one means I get to now say, defund the BBC. Because the BBC, as always, is moronic in how they handle nonsensical situations. So for this we insert Len Goodman. Len Goodman is one of the judges on a TV show called Strictly Come Dancing. I personally don't care for the show, but the show has been a resounding success. certainly on the BBC anyway. Len Goodman was on BBC One talking to Kirsty Young as part of the Jubilee pageant coverage. He sampled the official Jubilee pudding, which was a lemon and amaretti trifle created by Gemma Melvin. Alongside MasterChef's John Turode, he gave his stamp of approval to the pudding, and former Desert Island Discs presenter Kirsty asked pro ballroom dancer if he is a keen cook, to which Len responded, "No, I'm hopeless honestly. My wife did coronation chicken yesterday for our tea, and I've never had it before. I've never had curry and curry powder. You know, my nan used to call it foreign muck," which doesn't surprise me. Len Goodman is 78. His grandmother comes from a generation long ago, where these things were considered, well, a bit, rare. Let's go with that. A real treat in a home back when his grandmother was around was boiled ham. He further added, "I was always worried about it, but I must say it was ridiculous. It was really tasty. It was so tasty. I had my first sampling of coronation chicken yesterday." The chef John then told his story about growing up as a kid in Australia in the 70s with a grandmother who taught him how to cook, pointing out that she never used curry powder. I don't even think she knew what pasta was. So why are we bringing this up? Well, because he said foreign muck to curry powder, and that's naughty. Outrage on Twitter. Levels of spurgery you will only see whenever someone criticizes Sean Head on Twitter. It is quite astonishing. One pedantic shit had to be the one that pointed out, "Oh yeah, but curry's been part of our national diet for 200 plus years, and I'm sure his nan isn't that old," because xenophobia back then totally negates how much something is featured in our country's, let's say, culinary diet. Right. You do realize times have changed a lot more recently, but hadn't much back then. You moron, Claudia. This led to the BBC apologizing for Len Goodman telling a story. But I'm going to read a few more of these outraged tweets because it makes me chuckle to no end. A bit in shock about Len Goodman calling curry powder foreign muck. Can't believe I just heard that on BBC One. Len Goodman sends shockwaves to the BBC referring to curry as foreign muck. Monkey emoji. Did Len Goodman really just call coronation chicken foreign muck? Len Goodman's "I like some of them, but their food is nothing but foreign muck" live on BBC One this afternoon. Are you seeing a pattern with these tweets? It's almost like people they haven't seen what he actually said with the context that I've now given all of you to realize it wasn't him that said it, you dipshit. It was his grandmother, you dipshit. If you can't be asked to go and get the context, which takes 5 seconds, it's on YouTube as well. If you got the context, you'd realize he wasn't saying it, but he admitted there was a level of prejudice that held him back from trying things. And then he tried it. And he liked it. This isn't rocket science, morons. The BBC have gone on to apologize for this because of the outrage, the furore. "Oh my god, his nan who's not here anymore said foreign muck. How will we survive?" If this is what you're going on, fuck knows. So the final subject I'd like to talk about today is art. A subject I am not best knowledgeable on, but something we can certainly talk about because we've got some videos to go with it. For this we now insert the Mona Lisa, one of the world's most famous pieces of artwork created by Leonardo da Vinci, I believe around 1503, 15 something, I don't know, some point many years ago. How's that? It is arguably one of the most famous, and it is certainly his most famous. What had happened was, a man in a wheelchair dressed as an old lady ran up and started punching the Mona Lisa before smearing cake all over it. It took security because their reaction times were astoundingly poor, 10 to 15 seconds to take him away. Here's a clip of the damage to the painting.
No way!
And this is the old lady that did the damage. This particular activist was seen throwing roses in the gallery, declaring, "Think of the earth," saying, "There are people who are destroying the earth. Think about it. Artists tell you, think of the earth. That is why I did this." I don't think it counts if you're destroying history, something that is celebrated. If artists are telling you to think of the earth, why are you destroying the artist's work? Isn't that a tad contradictory? I guess the handy thing here really is, you didn't actually manage to smear cake on the Mona Lisa, because back in the 1950s, The painting had glass installed over it to protect it because of an acid attack, meaning your entire attempt at damaging it would, if anything, just be an attack, what, on the glass industry? Who did stellar work, by the way, because your punches didn't even break it. You pathetically weak fool.